Well, it says we're live, so we're going for it. Welcome, live from the crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience, either in email at rickslifeasiseeit at gmail.com or spottedrick at gmail.com. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other good stuff in the info below. Now, why I was setting up here for I went started the what I was going to say is GunTube is already shut down on me twice and I ain't even gone live yet, so we might have issues today. It just shut down for no reason. It said live stream has ended or something, whatever it says when I shut it down normally manually. But anyway, just saying that. Let's go to this. People must be just getting their notifications, or nobody clicks the notification button on me. I don't know which one it is. But in my chat at the moment, I just got first in was Mystic Guns, then Patriot in the Dark, and they're the only two I got in the chat room right now. So there we go. So early days. Anyway, let me introduce my panel. I got the one and only Squibload. How you doing?
Hey, Rick.
Good to see you.
GunTube's got me defaulted to one of my B channels, so I'm going to be Squiblift today.
Okay, all right.
But I guess just call me Squib.
Yeah, we'll do.
Everything's Squib.
All right. Jerry Parker's joined us in the chat, so is Squib. All right. The man, the myth, the legend, Patriot in the Dark.
Well, good afternoon, Rick. Everyone. Hello.
Yeah. And then we got the one from behind enemy lines, New York Outcast.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm just waiting a couple of minutes, see if anybody else comes in. I tell you, it's a rainy day here in southern Indiana. I mean, yesterday, the last 3 days of being the high 90s, and, with the heat index up between 107 and 109 over those 3 days. It's been hot. My AC hasn't stopped working, but today it's down to about 80 and raining. So, meant to be cool again tomorrow, but then the heat's meant to be coming back, so I'm not complaining, really. I like it hot, because if you have AC. All right, let's get this going. See if anybody else shows up in a little while, or they're tired of hearing about this topic. My topic was, how did I actually word it? Let me have a look. I said, did Remington do to a wrong? That's how I worded it. And, my opinion, which ain't worth much, ain't worth anything really. I know people are going to hate me for this, but I'm torn. I don't think it should have gone this far, but they squeaked it in not under a federal law, under a Connecticut advertisement law. And that's what's caused the problem. And the actual, I don't know if you guys, where is it? I got it right here. I don't, let me see if I can share it. Hang on. Let me get back to here where it says share. Where does it say share? Okay.
That's what did they actually do?
Hang on.
All right.
Let me find out which one it is. I think it's this one. Is it this one? Oh, no.
Besides, make golden duds and that UMC crap.
Okay. No, it ain't. Okay, let me get out. Let me end that. Oh, come on, stop now. Did it stop? Is it still on there, or is it gone now? I can't tell. All right.
Just see us on our screen.
Okay, so all right. Let me try one more time. See if I can do it. Okay, there you go. Can you see that? Can you see that?
I can. I'm mobile.
That commercial thing there, that advertisement. Okay, that is what the fuss was all. This is how they got it in the court in Connecticut. What they're saying is, because it says consider your man card reissued, but if you read the small print, I tried to make it larger, I can't, but it said if it's good enough for the professional, it's good enough for you. So they're saying good enough for the professional. So they're claiming Bushmaster advertised it as a military weapon. Is what they've come is how they got around it in Connecticut. Now, let me get rid. Let me stop sharing. How do you stop sharing this thing? Has it stopped? There we go. Yeah. So that's how they got around it. Now, from that, where I said I was torn, from that point of view, you get everybody in 2A saying it's not a military rifle. It's a sporting rifle and all this, which I totally understand. But when you got them selling it, saying it's good enough for the professional, right? It's good enough for you. Well, I mean, were they talking about a professional hunter, professional shooter? I don't know. I mean, the first thing that came to my head when they say professional, to me, I'm thinking military, right? Also, I've seen commercials from other companies for other products where you got the guy in his, if they're selling the body armor or whatever, with their chest things on full of magazines holding an AR. If it's not a military item, why do people use it in advertisement?
Who cares if it's a military weapon or not? What does that matter? What does that have to do with anything?
Because it's false advertisement in Connecticut.
Nobody gives a shit about Connecticut. They suck.
Well, that's why the lawsuits have been allowed to go forward.
They said that the way they were advertising it had to do with the man card thing. That they were advertising this to make it appealing to somebody who would commit a crime like this. And that has nothing to do with it. At the worst, they could call it misogynistic. Oh, go get bent, you feminist. Nobody cares. This is a BS law. But even if Remington said, we're just going to settle because it's cheaper and because the law doesn't have to do with your Second Amendment rights, they're sending a message to anybody out there who wants to sue anybody, anything related to firearms. Now they're going to go after ammo companies. They're going to go after reload supply companies. They're going to go after RNL displays. It doesn't matter because of this.
Hell no.
Well, now here's the next question for you. Some of the articles I've read dated the 29th, so that's a couple days ago, right? Here's one I read. Where is it? It's okay. It's a Connecticut newspaper. No, it's not. This one is one the one I was thinking of? No, that ain't the one. It's just goddamn computer. Okay, here it is. Yeah, this is the Connecticut paper. I can't think. What's the hell's name? I think it's Connecticut Journal or something. It's called. This was published on the 28th. All right. God damn it, you son of a bitch! I got too much running on here. My computer, my thing can't take it anymore. By the time okay, let me run this down. Okay, this is how it starts. 2 insurance companies for Remington Arms, the firearm company going through bankruptcy, offers millions to settle a lawsuit. Now, if Remington Arms is under the bankruptcy court, they might not have a goddamn say in it. You know, the creditors are the ones who are going to control it. And maybe those 2 insurance companies say we're not forking out billions of dollars. You know, I don't know. I mean, that's what I've read. Are they still under bankruptcy? Does the bankruptcy court still control them, basically? And if they do, then they don't have a goddamn say in what happens. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just trying to say, for everybody says, God damn them, let's boycott them. Let's do all this. You know, we got to get all the facts in. If they're being forced by the creditors to do it.
They are out of bankruptcy.
Okay.
So what was the problem? You say that it's false advertising. What was
yes,
false?
In Connecticut.
What was false about it?
They said if it's good enough for the professional, it's good enough for you.
Okay, and what's false about that?
Well, they're saying professional.
What does Bushmaster
They're saying
make?
it's good enough. If it's good enough for a military soldier, it's good enough for a civilian.
Okay, and what's
and they're saying it's a civilian gun.
Who cares about the gun? What's the company?
Yeah, this is what I already said. This
good enough for the military.
And I don't get it either.
Excuse me. What is the name on that rifle?
Bushmaster.
What does Bushmaster as a name make?
Hey,
does it make things also for the professional, or does it just make civilian stuff?
See, you're taking it. You got to.
No, I'm just asking. That's a question.
You got to look at it from somebody who's not gun savvy.
Well, that's all that they'd have to say is what are you talking about?
What Bushmaster is saying is our rifle is good enough for the military, so it's good enough for you. But then everybody says, well, it's not a military rifle. Then don't advertise it as
nothing to do with
what they're saying.
It literally has
says
nothing
professional,
to do with
not military, too. It says professional, not military. Technically, a guy that washes dishes at KFC is a professional dishwasher because he's paid to wash dishes. So it could be security.
I'm just telling you how it got through in Connecticut. That's why the lawsuit's there. False advertisement.
Okay, I understand. Now, if some guy like Rob makes $1 million and goes buy a Ferrari, right? A Ferrari, street car, right off the lot, nothing fancy. And they say, you're buying a Ferrari that's ran, 24 hours at Le Mans and won. So did his car, that specific car, do it? Or did Ferrari as a company?
In Connecticut, that is false advertisement because you're saying it's a race car.
No, they're talking about the company.
No, they're not.
Who's to say what they're talking about? I'm just asking because if you say this actual rifle is good enough for the professionals, or are they saying if it's good enough for the professionals, quote unquote Bushmaster, then it should be good enough for you? Okay, because like Ford makes a lot of different cars. They make shit boxes that are V8 supercharged, and they make little 4-cylinder ones, and that's why that car is anyways, I won't focus on Ford.
Who is suing Bushmaster or Remington? Is it the Sandy Hook families? Is it the state, or is it somebody who owns one of these guns?
It's the Sandy Hook families.
Then if they're suing them because Remington false advertised what this product was, they don't have a leg to stand on because none of them own it or use it. If the law says you can't advertise something to be something it's not, and none of these people own this product have paid money for this product and have used it and said this is not what they advertised, then this is just a bunch of liberal bullshit, Rick.
Hey,
because if you did buy it and you thought it was for a professional and it didn't work for you, then I understand where you're coming from.
Everybody talks about California and New York gun laws. Connecticut gun laws are way up there too. Connecticut is blue all the way through. And that's how it made it. I know what you're saying, but they took it literally that is false advertisement. Whether they own one or not is not the point. They're saying it's false advertisement.
But they shouldn't have any grounds to sue.
You're right. But the Supreme Court in Connecticut said, yes, you do. And and it actually made it to the United States Supreme Court, and the United States Supreme Court denied looking at it.
Yeah, but from the perspective that you're saying it, you're quantifying the misuse of this law. If you prefaced it with they are not using this law in the spirit in which it was written, I might give you some credibility in what you're saying, but you're not. You're saying they're justified in doing this because they're abusing their authority, or they're abusing their authority and this is how they're doing it, but it's okay because that's what they do. And it's not. But none of us live in Connecticut. We can't do anything about it.
Well, I think when this all started, this lawsuit should have been dismissed at the very first court, and it wasn't. And everybody should know right then and there that this was BS over what they were claiming, what was going on. When they announced this settlement, the lawyers from Sandy Hook and all the guys summed it up completely. It's not about breaking the law about advertising. It's not about a weapons company. They said it plain and simply. This was to show financial institutions and insurance companies that it's not wise to do business with a gun manufacturer. This is all just something that Bloomberg wanted, basically. It has nothing to do with the facts of the law, what's right or wrong morally. That's what they accomplished. They wanted to cause bankruptcy, hardship, and as they put it, they want to make it tough for gun companies to do anything financially or have insurance. It has nothing to do with false advertising or anything.
But
I mean, the true meaning behind it, not what they're pushing.
I'm going on about what they're actually saying, right? I mean, here you go. One of the Hockley, he's one of the sons one of the boys, the kids that got killed, right? Accused Remington of marketing a battlefield weapon to a civilian market without regard for the deadly consequences. All right, hang on, let's move on. They could not care less what happens to their guns once the cash is in the bank, showing utter disregard for the lives these weapons take and the families it destroys. They actively market the weapon to unstable individuals. Take, for instance, their advertisement, consider your man card reissued. We could be more, what could be more negligent than that? So that's how they got it.
But based on that,
that's a bunch of shit, though.
Yeah,
you can say that about any product, anything, screwdriver, anything.
You know,
that's exactly it. Outcast. They could literally use this for anything. What they didn't have to say all that. That statement that you just read, that this victim made, that's absolutely irrelevant. He could have just said, because, and they already made up their mind that they're going to do this to set a precedent.
Yes.
So they can put all this mumbo jumbo in there to back up what they're doing, but none of that means anything when they're not following the law in the spirit of the law, and where they already had their minds made up that they were going to do this. And Remington should have fought it. They should have fought it tooth and nail, and they failed. And that's why I want to boycott Remington, not because
they haven't,
lost,
but
because they didn't fight it.
The plaintiffs have not accepted it yet.
They will. They will.
You're jumping the gun. You need to wait to find out whether they accept it or not.
They will. They are making money off of an atrocity. They are making money off of their children in the same way that women make money off their children with child support. These are human beings. These are people. Okay, I understand sometimes lawsuits make sense, especially when there's absolute negligence, intentional criminal negligence. But in this case, they're not going to do anything good with this money. They're going to cash in on the loss of their child. And that just goes to show what kind of people these people are.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said, I was just coming at it from the. I guess I'm playing devil's advocate here.
The other thing that should be mentioned is this is not all the families. This is only a small group of the families that actually went on that lawsuit.
Yes,
there are some families that said we don't want any part of that.
Then why don't some of those families get on national freaking TV and say this is horse shit?
That would be something, because I mean it's
yeah, but
the one that sit back and be silent, that's an issue with a lot of different topics.
Yeah, yeah, but okay, so you all feel that if the plaintiffs accept the offer, that is going to set a bad example for everybody else to sue all the other gun companies out there.
Yeah, Remington should have never even made an offer, in my opinion. You don't condone bad behavior, whether it's your kid or all the way up.
This is why I support somebody who says that I'm going to boycott them because of what the precedent they're setting. If Remington's lawyers want to go, or Freedom Group or Vista Outdoors, whatever, right, want to go take the settlement, it's going to cost us less money in the long run. Oh no, it's going to cost you more money, because I'm not the only one out there who says I'm never buying one of your guns again. And that's going to cost them more in the long run if enough people say I'm never going to buy your gun again. And Remington will go out of business. And I don't hear people going, well, what about the people that work at the factory? Nobody seems to give a shit when they lay off 10,000 people at a Ford factory at all. So don't even talk to me about the people getting laid off from the Remington factory. But in the same sense, the lawyers can say that these leftards can send a message, so we need to settle. The people in the Second Amendment culture can send a message by going, never settle. You're a corporation. You have lawyers. You have the ability. If they had fought it, and even if they had lost, but they had fought it, they might have people going out and buying their product because they want to show them that we support you. We realize this cost you a lot of money. It's costing you more. We're here for you. The community is here for you.
But as people have said in the past, right? Gun manufacturers don't mean that they're 2A advocates. Gun ho. You think about it as a business. I'd rather lose 33 million than maybe $1 billion down the road. It's a business decision that's being made, and is it going to hurt them? I mean, take Dick's Sporting Goods. That store is still going strong. Even though it got rid of it and everybody said, we're not going to go there anymore. Hey, they're still getting, their doors are still open and they're still making millions.
What, Rick? Then don't boycott. It doesn't matter. It's a free country for a while. So if you don't want to boycott, don't boycott. I'm not one of these guys that comes on YouTube and says, if you don't do what I do, you're wrong, you're bad, you're evil. No, this is what I do. And this is why I do it. If you don't do that, I don't give two shits. Okay. I really don't. But it's just like voting. That's how you send a message. That's how you affect change.
You would think, companies would realize too, guns isn't like, selling dishes or something. It's a political thing in America. It could be tied into American values. There's a gun is a symbol in some cases.
But a gun
is basically more than a gun.
Business.
So you should hold right. It is a business. You can make a business out of it, and I'm sure people hit it both ways. But if you want the support of
Remington, all them gun companies,
you probably can't be a shitbag, and
all them
making
gun
deals
companies
that are going to belittle the cause is pretty shitty.
They all do. Look at what Ruger did. Look at what Smith & Wesson did. They did all them things in the past. It was all, it was all to say help their bottom line. It had nothing to do with, 2A, gun-ho, all the way or nothing. I'm not, Remington, don't want to go out.
Everybody's got different lines, different tastes.
Take Ruger or Smith & Wesson. They don't want to go out of business because they're making money selling guns. Their bottom line. So it's all about the bottom line to these companies. They don't care about, they should do it for the 2A community. They don't give a shit.
This will surprise you, but I will just about guarantee you, go look at your favorite gun company, go look at any gun company, and if you go look at the supreme leaders and the CEOs and the vice presidents and go down the list, go in that corporate boardroom, you'll probably find the majority of the people don't even own a gun, don't even own the product they're selling, never seen it, never fired it. And those are the ones that are making the decisions. It's not, the whole industry has lost the gun enthusiast, maker, owner. Okay. It's all corporate.
Yeah,
it's all about prices. There's 100 guns on the market that only exist to compete in a price market. Plain and simple. It's not about making a dependable gun, the world's most accurate gun, most usable gun. It's to fit into a price market. Plain and simple.
And one of the reasons why Remington went bankrupt in, a chapter, 11 or 13 back in 2018 to reconsolidate its debt, which it did. And then in 2020, it done it again. And the reason is it said, we don't have the cash to meet the demand of the weapons people want to buy. We don't have the money to buy the goods to make the product. That's why they went into bankruptcy yet again, trying to relieve the debt and get loans so they could carry on because they know business was damn good, but they didn't have the money to do anything. So it's all about the bottom line with those people. And as I'm saying, if they can get away with paying $33 million compared to going to court and maybe end up paying $1 billion, they rather lose the $33 million. They don't care. They don't care if it sets a bad precedent to the 2A community. They really don't care.
Nobody said that they do. Everybody's saying it's a BS move, not only by the people in government who are abusing their authority and not using this law the way it was meant. It's a BS move by the company. There are people out there who say boycotting doesn't work. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. Or I love this product and I'm not giving it up. Nobody's asking you to. Just because somebody says this is what they're doing, somebody else will go, well, I'm not. Okay. We're this is what we're doing. But the reason I'm vocal about it is because I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say who I am and what I believe in. And my way of telling them, you made a bad move for the Second Amendment. I don't care that you're not pro 2A. I don't care that it was a business decision. As a consumer and as somebody who is pro Second Amendment, I'm telling you, you're not getting my hard-earned money. I'm going to give it to somebody else. And if they go, we don't care, then, okay, fine, you don't care. And maybe what I do has no effect on them at all. But it doesn't matter. As long as I live in a free country, I can do that. When I'm not in a free country, comrade, I can't do that.
I agree.
In the end, you do it for you.
But here's another question on top of that. I understand why you're doing that. Since the day Dick's Sporting Goods did what they did, I've never been in one since. So I totally understand what you're saying. And I didn't say I was going to buy a Remington. But is there going to be enough people who buy firearms going to boycott it to make it to hurt them? I don't think there is.
Who cares?
So let's say Remington did fight this. Does it actually help 2A? Because they're being sued for how they advertised the gun, which the advertisement that was in question was with a person in military garb saying, get your man card back. And so the lawsuit was saying that this was a weapon of war, and the Adam Lanza chose this gun because of the way they advertised it as being a weapon of war. So Remington fights it, says, yeah, that is a weapon of war. Now that lends credence to what our government and ATF and everybody wants to say, that these AR-15s are a weapon of war. We shouldn't have weapons of war on our streets. We're damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Well, that's what I said at the beginning.
War.
That's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah, you're reaching. And professional can mean anything.
Well,
you can be a professional stripper.
As I said at the beginning, a lot of these gun companies, not just ARs, handguns, even if you're, I mean, most, if you look at some of these companies, when they sell their products, they make it seem like they're military grade or military something.
So what?
I get the impression that, but then we turn around.
That matter?
The Second Amendment doesn't say the right to bear arms except the military arms. All weapons are weapons of war. All weapons.
Yeah,
an
but
AR-15 is just as much a weapon of war as an M16.
Yes, it does. They were sued.
What if they get sued for it?
They were sued.
What's the problem with saying that it's a weapon of war? All guns are designed to kill. That's what they're for. They're you might have a handful that are to shoot little paper targets, but those are those little pump action 22s in the gallery.
But if you're going to put a person in military garb as if they're a soldier,
does it say USA on one pocket, or does it just have the same stuff 95% of the cops?
It's the impression it gives.
I see junkies wearing uniforms all the time. Goodwill gives them out.
The impression that a liberal wants to apply to it, not the impression it gives, the impression that some liberal wants to apply to it, Rick. Look, people have said to me before, they said, well, you were in the military. What do you think? Is the AR-15 a weapon of war? The answer is yes. Oh, no, you can't say that. That's bad. Then you got somebody else who goes, no. The Supreme Court said that we have the right to have weapons of war. That's why they're saying we shouldn't have things like sawed-off shotguns and stuff, because those aren't weapons of war. So you can call them. You got different people with different opinions. My thing is, I'd rather have any one of my AR-15s than that M16 they issued me. Okay, actually, I'd rather have my M1 Garand than that M16 they issued me. Okay, but that's just my personal preference, my personal choice. But all guns, knives, dang rock you can pick up off the ground as a weapon of war because it's been used in warfare. Okay, so I'm not nitpicking. I'm calling it out for what it is. It's a load of liberal crap. It is people perverting the law, perverting the history, and perverting the language to get their agenda across, and a bunch of people shaking their heads going, okay, because they don't want to take the time to do critical thinking and they don't want to educate themselves on something. And that's their choice. They don't have to. There's no law saying you've got to know what you're talking about before you open your mouth. Believe me, if there was, we wouldn't have any politicians.
But my question is, would we be sitting here in a year having the same conversation if Remington said, yep, we're going to fight this, and said, no, that is a weapon of war. And, they win their lawsuit. They don't pay out the $33 million, but in a year we're under this huge friggin' attack where our government's, yep, those are weapons of war, we need to get rid of them, and next thing you know, we have a giant assault weapons ban again.
And I'm going to be saying, first off, hold on, stop. The assault weapons ban didn't work. It actually backfired.
That's not my question. No,
it does, because you're scared. You're scared of something you didn't go through.
I'm not scared. I'm asking a question. If it went the other way in a year, would we be saying boycott Remington because they fucked us?
No, hell no.
No. Well, it's a court thing too. We can't assume to know what way they're going to go about it, in a sense, as a defense and everything. So to assume they put it out the way you're saying, barbecue, I'm sure they'd probably look into that beforehand. So, I mean, it seems kind of, again, foolish to argue about something that's a hypothetical that we have no freaking clue that a bunch of attorneys would be working on.
I mean, we're arguing here about boycotting the company when the plaintiffs haven't even accepted it yet. I mean, the plaintiffs could say, no, we're not accepting it. Let's keep going forward in the case.
Well, New York Outcast is right when he uses the term hypothetical, and I agree with that. But Remington or their parent company or Bushmaster itself, whatever, doesn't have to come out and call this a weapon of war. I am right here on social media calling it a weapon of war. Now come get me, okay? Because it is. So when they use terms like weapon of war, I don't care because it is.
And it doesn't matter if it's a firearm or not, because that doesn't. The Second Amendment doesn't pertain to firearms only.
Correct.
You can buy a K-bar.
We know that, right? but unfortunately, the average American doesn't.
That's why we're out here talking about it.
We're out here to give them a clue.
Yeah.
You know? I understand where Guns is coming from. I mean, I understand where he's coming from. Hypothetically, they keep on fighting and they win. Remington wins. Then hypothetically, the government somehow, because we do have a bunch of Republican rhinos in there, bring up the assault weapons ban and it passes. Right? Now, are we going to be sitting here and saying, well, if fuck Remington, if they hadn't have fought, this wouldn't have happened?
I won't.
Yeah, I'm like, I agree with everything.
Take this to court, because if we lose, we're going to totally lose, and we shouldn't do it then. Forget it. We give in the towel because we might lose. That's bullshit.
That's called damage control.
Man,
this is playing a victim to a bully.
This is not a landmark, groundbreaking case. Okay, the victory here is on Bloomberg's face, and for Sandy Hook, and for every town, and all that. This is all for them. If they win this case, take the settlement, they're not going to be able to go after Smith and Wesson next month for didn't like their ad. You know what I mean? They played a technical dance on this, and they're involving the firearm, and they want you to believe this is all about a weapon of war and firearm, and oh, this is terrible. But the technical merits of the case don't even apply to it being a firearm. They're intertwining it for a show. It doesn't mean anything. What we don't want them to settle for is because I'm not willing to give Bloomberg in every town any victory, any small victory at all. They need to be stopped at every turn to where they have disappointment and anger and frustration, and not Bloomberg having a nice little party and a dinner for the lawyers and they decide where they're going to go next. This case is not about, like I said, the first court should have thrown it out. This is not about the Second Amendment or the giving in. This is Bloomberg flexing his dollars and his influence and using us to talk about it, the news to print it out, to spread his narrative or whatever. It's the greatest promotional propaganda plea of all time. And he's just sitting smiling.
When we talk about it, though, we can call it out for what it is. We might be giving it attention, but we're also talking about the fact that this is not the spirit of the law. This is an abuse of power. This is an agenda. And this is a company making a business decision that is going to not be good for it, potentially not good for it in the long term with its customers.
Well, look, if Corvette put out a new ad and they're telling you this isn't just a Corvette, this is like the ZR1 Corvette. This is racetrack ready for the professional. Got an old guy sitting behind the wheel and it says, get your man card back. Are they getting sued and settling lawsuits?
No, because they're not a firearm company. And we can call them out for that too. Because there have been commercials like that in the past from car companies. Not specifically that, but in that genre or whatever you want to call it. And it brings up a really good point. I think that more companies should be up in arms about this. They might go, well, it just happens in Connecticut because they're effed up and it doesn't happen anywhere else. Well, maybe not. But this is not somebody. This is like somebody saying, my product was defective. Oh, yeah? Well, what'd you do? Well, I loaded 44 Magnum in a 44 Special. Wait, it doesn't even fit in the cylinder. Well, I made it fit and it blew up. So therefore it's defective. No, it's not. And they're going, nope, sorry, got to give you the lawsuit because even though you didn't use the product properly, and that what sort of precedent does that set? Now everybody's suing McDonald's over hot coffee, right?
Well, no, that doesn't set a precedent because that was an error. This is a technicality with advertising. It's just, unfortunately, it's with the gun manufacturer. They're intertwining it. Because there's still another problem here where the people that filed the suit even stated that their goal is to file the suit, win, all that fun jazz, and then have institutions stop backing firearms manufacturers, which proves that their lawsuit is disingenuous and should be thrown out. That's a whole other issue in itself. But like Jason's saying, so let's say we take Jason's scenario, but then somebody goes and runs down a crowd of people with that Corvette ZR1, whatever the heck, and they get sued. Now the argument's made that that person chose that Corvette ZR1 because it was the fastest car they could get. It was going to be the deadliest machine, et cetera, because Corvette advertised it as a race car ready for the track.
And if I was a lawyer,
the big
I
difference
would say,
between that. Okay, now the big difference between that is if that person didn't buy the car for that reason, or the people that are suing. I don't.
Well,
I forgot what
that wouldn't hold up really either.
I rushed back to the office
would do a lot better
I forgot what I was saying.
Fiberglass.
But what the lawyer will do, in a hypothetical case like that is use this case as his argument. Well, it proved that you could do it because they sued Remington for false advertisement, so we can sue Corvette for false advertisement.
Well, what it does is it would force Corvette to say, yes, it's a race car. And then does the government say, well,
but that's totally different, though. That is totally
no,
different.
because then the government,
because if you look at that and they say this is a profession, used by professionals, right? So you can buy this Cobalt or whatever the
Snap-on
tool
tools
is.
used by professionals.
Snap-on, right?
Yeah. Am I breaking the law now?
But they say that just used by professionals, so it should be good enough for you. Now that's not saying this gun is used by professionals or this tool is actually used. If they were saying used by professionals, so it should be good enough for you, Bushmaster, right? Because Bushmaster also makes military stuff and civilian stuff. Ford, they make freaking work trucks and Econo vans and all sorts of garbage, normal people wouldn't want to buy. So, you gotta, the intent, if you're looking at the word saying this actual item that you're purchasing is used by professionals. Now that's a different situation than saying this, used by professionals, right? Because it could be intended
Hang on, Patriot. This is used by professionals. It's got a goddamn giant picture of an AR right under it.
Well,
what's
the name on it?
What do you want? A picture of roses?
But no, so my point here was, so Corvette would then have two options: fight the lawsuit, or say, you know what? Yeah, we misadvertised. It's not really a race car, and just eat it. So let's say they nope, that's a race car, and we didn't misadvertise. And then the government later on is like, well, you know what? We shouldn't have race cars on the road. We need to regulate that. And now that great selling race car, Corvette can't make anymore. Are they going to lose more money in the long run by not being able to make that race car? Or they take the shortfall and say, we misadvertised, and we'll pay out whatever the heck we need to pay out and eat it. And then they keep getting to make their race car and making a bunch of money off of it. And everybody's happy in the end.
That's what Bushmaster's trying to do here.
Exactly.
Or their insurance company is.
Oh, boy.
Can I throw it out there? Race cars aren't right. So
you're good.
Them race cars. It's like privilege.
I can understand where barbecue's coming from. I really can. I know what he's trying to say. I can't put it in any other kind of words.
I think they were damned if they did and damned if they didn't.
Yeah, so do I. Do I? I mean, I'm leaning towards.
What about Home Depot's rental truck that drove through the park and killed all those people? I was actually
trying to think of a good example for that one, but then Jason said the Corvette thing, so I just rolled with that.
Yeah. I would love to see it go back to the
believe you can
Supreme
still
Court
rent
again.
vehicles.
I would love for Remington to fight it and get it all the way back to the Supreme Court again.
Well, Rick, you better turn in your AR-15 because it's a scary piece of military-grade equipment that you probably shouldn't have, man.
I mean, has Smith & Wesson advertised it with an Army guy holding it?
Well, boy, you know, I guess if
Was
that's
it an
all
Army
it takes
guy?
for you to vilify it, then yeah.
One of those little green guys?
I didn't say I agreed with it. I was taking the devil advocate side here.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I say?
You were in Connecticut too long.
It's not a military weapon.
Hater.
It's not a military weapon because military don't use
It's a military weapon.
And what if it is? And what if it was? It doesn't matter.
No,
as long as it's not in the NFA right now.
Under the Second Amendment, we should be able to have anything the military has. We should be able to buy.
Yep. That means you shouldn't have an M1 Grand, and you shouldn't have a
1911.
Shouldn't have a Springfield 30-06 bolt action.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Or
I
didn't have a pencil.
Or a stone dagger.
I think we should be able to buy everything the military has. Absolutely. You know, if you can afford it and you can buy it, go for it, is what I say.
The only thing I really see happening out of this is companies, and it might, not even just extend to gun manufacturers, but just companies with advertising in general, is they're going to be more careful on exactly how they advertise products, because if it could come back that, hey, something stupid happened with your product, which should be no liability of theirs, but because of the way they advertised it, they could get sued. I think we're going to see companies really being on the ball about exactly how they advertise stuff now.
I got a question about that though. So you got some operators that retire and they're old and broke, and now they make broke physically, and they start a company and they say, hey, this is my charging handle. This would be great. Blah blah blah. And they use their pictures and photos and all that kind of whatever, old photos, whatever, in their advertising. Is that now bad? Would that be considered the same kind of thing?
In Connecticut, it would.
For what?
False advertisement.
What's false about it? Saying it would be good?
If you're an old guy now, say you're in your 60s, but in your prime, you're a tier 1 operator, right? And you're making charging handles now, right? But you put up a picture on your advertisement of you when you were back in your prime in your full military gear, holding an AR with with your hand on the charging handle. In Connecticut, you're saying that's a military charging handle.
Okay, so what about advertising that has a picture of George Washington crossing the Delaware and they're selling boats? Is that false advertising too? I mean, there's a lot. You got to look at the intent. If it's saying, "Hey, this is what I used when I had this firearm," that's something different. This is actual, or even if they say, "Hey, this is a copy of something that I used," is different.
The Connecticut court should
push them off into the ocean.
The Connecticut court should have denied the case from the very beginning. But all the judges in Connecticut are Democrat liberals. And if it's something they can get against the gun, they will do it. They hate firearms in Connecticut.
They should have went to Maryland. Damn.
It's not so much as they hate firearms. They've been told to hate firearms.
Yes.
Like I said, like you hit right on the very first court, this should have been denied when they filed this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once they heard the argument on both sides, it should have been, this is making sense. But I bet if you go look everything up and go chase the numbers, every judge, every court involved with this, the only money you will see is Bloomberg money. Who paid for their last election? Who's taking care of this? Who's taking care of that? I don't care if it comes from some company named something, whatever. Look at that company. It's owned by Bloomberg. This is all his deal. The only person we should be fighting is him. It's not the technical of the written laws or advertising. If it wasn't for Bloomberg, this never even would have happened.
And
Nobody wanted this. The state attorney general didn't go crazy on this and say it was a tragedy. The only person that wanted this was Bloomberg.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing. And actually, that big anti-gun company actually came out of Sandy Hook, which is backed by Bloomberg's company, anti-gun company. Well, what the hell's the name of it? One that's
Everytown.
Yeah, Everytown.
Every
that
Moms.
Yeah.
Moms Demand Action. Everyone you can think of. Giffords is also Bloomberg money. They're all. It's profitable. It's profitable to be friends with Michael Bloomberg.
Yeah.
I'm still a believer Sandy Hook didn't go down the way they claim it did. Not saying it didn't happen, but I think there's a lot of things that just didn't add up in that situation.
Oh, I tell you, I got
skeptical of the whole damn thing. So it doesn't surprise me that they're pushing all types of bullshit. And it's just going to keep running on and on and on.
I remember watching the friggin' news, and they're like, there's 2 individuals, police are pursuing somebody through the woods. Whatever happened to the person they're pursuing through the woods? Then they're like,
supposedly they picked them up and just let them go, escorted them out and let them go. And I heard he's a hunter, but what's a hunter doing in near a school that's active? I mean, would you go hunting right next to a school? I mean, there's a lot of weirdness.
I remember they were,
and the AR-15 they showed on camera from the helicopter being pulled out of the trunk.
Yeah.
So why is it even an issue to begin with? I mean, you should be looking at handguns or something if you want to get technical. The whole thing smells like shit to me.
It smells.
They said it was a Sig Sauer and I believe a Glock that were used and were found in the school. Then the medical examiner comes out and is like, "Oh yeah, we found 223 rounds, blah blah blah." So what? He ran outside with the friggin' AR, put it back in the trunk, and
locked
then
it back up.
Like, come on.
That's what they have you believe.
The medical examiner was already saying this shit before they were pulling people out, and before they pulled the fucking AR out of the trunk.
Hey, all I can say is the grassy knoll.
The whole thing was some type of political scheme for our benefit from people above.
I don't know you younger understand what I meant by the grassy knoll, but the old people will. If there's any
Magic bullet?
What?
I was assuming you meant the magic bullet.
Yeah, back in Kennedy's assassination.
Yep.
Came from the grassy knoll.
Those guys are dead and buried in the desert. Still got Grandpa's shovel.
Yeah. Man, I was going to talk about some other stuff, but this is taking up a whole hour.
Hey, real quick, did you see the video of the shooting right in front of the police car in Detroit, and the cops just drove off?
No.
I did. It almost looked like he tried to block the car in the beginning, but then he did cut out. So
it was two women cops. Okay, now but everybody I've seen doesn't have the take on it that I see. This is a cop car. You can see the push bumper and everything on the front. It's got the dash cam is what we're looking at. And there's a guy walking in front of the car, on the street. This car is like parked pointed 90 degrees to a street. And another car rolls right up and stops dead in front of the cop car, 15 feet away, climbs out the back window and starts blasting. Not like Jesus Christ. I mean, like not a bit of fear, or forget about respect for the law. Not a bit of fear or anything. Stop in front of the cop car and start blasting at their gang-banging enemy on the street. Not even pay attention to the cops. Not even.
I bet they didn't even see him, Jason.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it was like 2 parking lots on a corner. The officer was at the exit of one, and there's other guy, the victim guy that was getting shot at, was walking through the parking lot kitty corner on the other side of the corner. The car pulled up, and they were looking for this guy. Obviously, if they rolled up like they did, and the passenger leaned out and started shooting. So they were probably both focused on this I don't know, call him a suspect, but on the victim or whatever, crossing the parking lot, didn't even notice the officer right there within 15 feet right on camera.
Dude,
So
when that cop threw
that's
gear,
what it looked like. But criminals are dumb sometimes.
when that cop threw the car in gear, had to turn the wheel to keep from hitting the other guy's car. Now, like, damn, I mean, like, there's dumb criminals and there's this and that, but to roll up and that's as bad as like running into a police car or whatever. You didn't see him, but to roll up right there in front of them, that's just amazing, man.
They didn't. I mean, now hang on. Did the car drive off?
Yeah, they skittled the hell out of there.
Well,
They
I
took
mean,
off.
Supposedly they turned around and came back. But yeah,
They should have ranged
my
that
opinion,
car.
you think the thing to do, would be hit the
It'd been
gas.
easier just to hit
you
the
know,
other car.
Take out.
They didn't want to get shot. They didn't want to get shot.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
nobody
they'll
does.
tell
That's
you
why you
that.
gotta
Make
shoot
a good
first.
witness.
You know, they're only police people
criminal
because they
justice
want the
will tell you
money.
that.
They don't want to do the job. They want to pay. You know?
And the other kicker about it is they didn't even report it or nothing. This wasn't even in their police reports at all. They found this months later when they were like, cleaning out the hard drive on the
Well,
camera.
it's only gang related shit. You don't need to report it. Let them kill each other. Get it done and over with. You know?
Yeah, well, we don't know, man. We don't know. That dude who got shot, he could have been living not so good life, or he could have been totally innocent. We don't know. But I'm just pointing out what's amazing.
Chances of him being innocent are very slim.
But I'm just saying to point out, I'm just like, I'm glad that's not the streets I live on, where like even 15 feet.
Where was this, Detroit?
You're not even safe. You know,
was this
can
Detroit?
Get shot for trying to separate people from like a gang too and stuff. Like if you're like the one guy that's holding somebody back, you can expect to have trouble. So
doesn't Squib live up that way? Huh? So anyway, my next topic was going to be: do you think that they're going to pull Chipman in for another hearing? You all heard about that, right? That all the Republicans on the committee want to re-interview Chipman again because of the confirmed allegations they have now that he's racist. Silence.
Honestly, I don't even know why they're worried about friggin' having another hearing. Just push for the vote. They don't have the friggin' votes to get them through anyways. Push for the friggin' vote.
But what happens if they do?
If they did, they would be voting on it.
It's another opportunity to badmouth him. So bring it on. The Democrats can have their sham about January 6th. So
yeah, I mean,
let
also
us have ours about this Chipman dude.
They might not have the votes as you're claiming, but if they can redo it again, it might. Then the Republicans might be able to turn one Democrat, which would kill it anyway.
Well, they already have Democrats turned. That's why they haven't gone to vote.
You say so. But most votes go down party lines.
But that's the issue is the Democrats don't even have their party line vote. There's Democrats against Chipman.
Yeah, I say have the hearing, man. Give, like I said, another opportunity to badmouth them. It's a page out of their own playbook. All you need is the right moment, the right coverage on this, the right time to put the message out, because you're playing the race card on this one.
Yeah,
it's so effective for the other side. Yeah. Let them have a taste of it, man. Either way,
agree.
Like I said, if they voted today, they might not get him in, or we'll just be back to a stalemate or something.
Well, that's why I'm saying
give it another chance to badmouth him, man.
That's why I'm saying vote on it.
It's not just hit him once. Let's knock him out.
You've got the confirmed allegations. I'm not worried about Chipman because if they voted on it, I'm 99.9% positive he's not getting in. But then you've got a voting record where you can turn around and say, this political party that says that they are not racist and that we're the racists and they're gonna stand and fight for you and everything else. This guy that is a confirmed racist that said racist shit, yada yada yada, they voted for.
That position.
What's it matter? Biden's the president, right? I mean, everybody's seen his clips, so people don't seem to give a shit.
He's the occupant of the House, the White House.
Well, see, if they vote on it and they kick him out, won't they just stick the next guy in? Dragging it out, I mean, you're just not getting somebody in there. So isn't that like a appointment where you're there for as long as you're not kicked out?
Well, they haven't had a director for years, man.
But they
Trump didn't put one in.
They have an acting director, and she gets all the power that the regular director does. Do you think they really care that they don't have an officially voted on person? She's still there going, yep, we're going to do bump stock.
Trump never had a director.
Yeah, because it's this lady that's the appointed director, because they still have to have an appointed director while there's waiting for somebody to get in. So this lady that's the appointed director, she still gets to act like the director, which again I think is BS because she wasn't voted on or anything. So the fact that she gets full power like a director that was put through by our elected officials is complete bullshit to me. But nonetheless, she does have that power. And like I said, she, you want a bump stock ban? Cool, we'll do that. You want pistol braces gone? Cool. Redefine firearms, all that. She's on board to do whatever the fuck they want. Do you really think they care if she loses her position anytime soon?
Well, she's not going to lose her.
She's not going to lose that position until they put somebody in there.
No, she's not going to lose.
Drag it out with this guy, Chipman, and drag it on and don't get him in, and then they throw up some next bum that they like. You're just running out the clock anyway.
Whoever gets the job as head of the ATF, the person right now, the acting director, is still going to be there because that person is a federal employee. Doesn't mean they lose their job once they get an acting director. All that person does is slide back into the title they had before they became acting director.
She'll just go to vice acting director? I don't know. It's an easy
type thing,
say, but
Look, man, I would much rather it be a fill-in position, an acting director in limbo, other than an appointed official that maybe you got to wait for the next president to get rid of or whatever. At the reaching for straws or whatever, it's have to account some way. If they tried to push some really crazy shit and it passed and enforced, you got to open that up into law that hey, this rule was created by someone who's not even the acting director. They're just a temporary. That have to give you some grounds to try to fight with. I would rather the ATF be in a weakened state in any position at any point. I don't want them strengthened by a confirmed leader or any of that. I want them to be as weak, confused, disorganized as possible. That's just my opinion on it.
Weak and confused. Look at everything they're doing with an acting director. She is a director that just wasn't confirmed. That's it. She's the director. We can say acting director or director. She's the director right now until they decide to actually confirm somebody, which has not happened since the Obama administration. Think of everything that's been going on with the ATF since then.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of talk. What have they really gotten done?
Bump stocks. Let's say we got pistol brace comment period going on right now. We got the redefinition of firearm receiver going on right now. So now let's say, because you guys sit here and say that they're going to do whatever the fuck they want, yada yada yada. But now we're saying that they are disoriented because they got an acting director who's doing all this.
I'm just saying I'd rather them be that way. They don't need a solid, stable foundation of leadership. They don't need that at all.
But I don't understand why you're saying that, because they have that. She's doing just fine.
So what difference does it make if you put a vote for Chipman and he doesn't get in? This is the same damn thing.
Yeah.
So what does it change to push the vote? Because that's what you're looking at, right? You're saying the acting director. It doesn't matter. She's there until somebody else fills that spot.
Because then we have the voting record. That's why I don't care if they were to actually vote on Chipman, because he's, like I said, I'm nearly 100% positive he's not going to get in. They don't have the votes. And that's one reason they haven't done the vote. But he's serving as a distraction. We got these comment periods and everything else going on right now. So while we put 2 comment periods on the people, let's make them think that this terrible anti-gun guy that worked for Giffords and everything else is going to get in, and he's really going to hammer their rights. So now they got to worry about calling their senators and everything else to make sure that he doesn't get nominated, which also distracts from the comment periods.
Well,
meanwhile,
people are really dumb and get distracted easy.
Yeah, I agree, but it's all
3 things. You're
it's all
in bad shape.
That position would be used the other way too, where if she could push for a bunch of shit that's presented to her, it goes bad. They end up saying, "Oh, she wasn't even the real deal," and got out of control. We'll rein it back in, and let's get somebody else in here. So, it's a way to kind of kick over accountability too on I don't know, a lower or whatever you want to call it. So
actually, a really good point there. I didn't even think about that.
It makes to me, it makes sense.
And like I said, the reason I want the vote most, though, is especially now, because, we heard, a month or 2 ago that he made these comments about black ATF officers in Detroit, but now it's been confirmed by multiple sources. So friggin' have the vote and make the Democrats put their money where their mouth is. And when they have that vote, there should not be a single fucking Democrat voting for them.
But the problem is if you drag it out and you bring out more information, because as soon as you do a vote and he's done, he's gone. And people are going to forget about it. Longer it's sitting out there, that probably has more weight than a vote count.
But what I'm saying, when midterms come up, say, hey, my opponent here that I'm running against voted for David Chipman. You're in a, rough neighborhood, something like that. So, you're a minority. This guy voted for a guy that wanted to take your rights and was openly racist.
No, you can say that anyway.
Yeah, but if you don't have the voting record, you can't say that.
They'll just reverse it. The guy that's
don't you watch TV? You can say anything you want.
You're not black enough. You don't vote for me.
Hey, voting records don't mean shit, really. Good example, Florida used to be, and basically is one of the most gun-friendly states going, right? When the school shooting happened, the governor of Florida was a Republican, right? He made them push through a red flag law down there within weeks of it happening. Everybody's up in arms about it, but they pushed it through anyway. He decides to run for Senate in Florida. The Republicans voted him as senator. It don't matter what they voted to what they do. Nobody cared that he brought in red flag laws. They still voted for him to become senator of their state.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of people don't look at voting records.
No,
I certainly will. If I'm on the fence between 2 candidates and I'm not sure which way I want to go, I'll go back, start looking at things that were important to me. How did this person vote on it? I wish a lot of more people would do that, but they don't.
That's the problem.
But what I'm saying is, in this case, say it's a Republican running against that Democrat in a seat that can be highly contested, he doesn't have to worry about his constituents going back and looking that up. He can bring it up himself and say, hey, look at this,
Look, man,
but you're asking too much.
Man, let me tell you a little story about one of the local Democrats around here, Sherrod Brown. Boy, I don't know how, if anybody can judge a book by its cover. When you look at this dude, he's a snake. Okay, you should know that already. But he's always the reelected Democrat from around here, so people like him. He put out these commercials here on the last election cycle when the auto industry and stuff's been tough around here. Squib knows, and there's a lot of factories, and we've had plant closings and things here. GM had one of the plants here in Ohio on the chopping blocks, and it was like Ohio's already lost enough auto plants that devastated whole towns when the jobs were gone. We can't afford anymore. This plant was like pretty much taking care of a little town, and we couldn't lose that. We just could not lose that. So he went on this big campaign, and he's done all the work and everything, and he saved everybody's job. That plant is not going to close. I saved it. He's driving cars on his campaign commercial, standing in front of the plant. I saved all these numbers of jobs and all this number of dollars for the community. And they had the election, and he got reelected. A month later, they closed the plant.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You know. Anyway, real quick, it's 4
Is that the Lordstown plant, Jason?
I think it was Lordstown.
Well, so did they close it just because they needed to close it, or did they close it because they weren't going to make the cruise anymore?
Well, I don't know. GM made their decision or whatever why they're going to close their plant. And he probably obviously knew it was going to close. He talks about dealing with him, but he bragged it up the whole election season that I saved your jobs when he knew that was a flat out lie. That wasn't true at all. He knew what was coming. Stuff. And they talked about all the money they spent in tax breaks they gave GM and all this and that to save this plant. He knew he stuff like that. They don't decide to like close a car plant in a month. This has to be planned out, structured, evaluated, and everything. Everybody that was a player knew long in advance what was happening. I'm just saying he used several different campaign commercials running on the fact that he was saving this part of his district and saving the town and all your jobs when he knows
typical politician.
But really, then people need to remember that when he's up for re-election again, because
they don't. They re-elect him again. He's still there right now. Yes, over and over, over and over. Love the dude. Love the dude. You'll see him. He looks like
anyway.
He's got a clown. He looks like a clown here, dude.
Hey! It's my show. It's my show. I ain't interested in Ohio politics.
Let's talk about salad and kidney stones.
No, you're interested in Connecticut politics.
No, let's talk about my quiz. You know,
the answer is 42.
Okay, last week's quiz or the last 2-week quiz. I'm afraid to say I didn't get many entries at all. I'm surprised. But the question was, I wanted to know. Hang on, where is it? I wanted to know the last time the U.S. cavalry versus Indian battle. The answer was January 9th, 1918. This happened between the elements of the 10th U.S. Cavalry, which was a it's worded colored here, regiment, and the Yaqui Indians, is that how you pronounce it? They mistook the troops, the black troops, for Mexican troops and opened fire. They were actually in a war, a small mini war with Mexico at the time, and they mistook these troops for Mexican. That was the last official battle.
Good God, how black did Mexicans used to be?
You know, so there you go.
How Mexican where blacks used to be.
Yeah, no kidding. It's okay, Rick. You can say colored. It's all right. You're old enough.
Yeah. I remember seeing the signs on the windows, no coloreds allowed. You know,
or just like it was the Negro League for baseball, and they've got a Hall of Fame and everything else, but now it's offensive. I'm not saying that it's a modern phrase to use, but when you're using it in a historical context like this context, I don't see why it's inappropriate, because you're explaining history from the actual point of view, and it happened. And when we erase our history, we're doomed to repeat it.
That's right. So let me hit my my handy random selector, and let me hit it. Here we go. God damn it! Patriot in the Dark is the winner.
Rigged.
Look at that. Even a blind squirrel finds an acorn once in a while.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Patriot in the Dark, you're the winner.
I mentioned that last week. I said, what did I win?
You know.
Oh man,
you won the swag pack. So I got your mail.
A lot of cool stuff in it.
You know.
How many other people entered?
One
other? It was a 50-50 chance?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, you could send it to
I
them.
had 2 people enter. That's it.
Who was the lucky guy?
What?
Or girl?
You.
I know me. I'm always lucky, but who was the other person?
Oh, what? The other person that entered?
Yeah. As long as it's not Rich.
Southpaw RX.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can send it to him.
You can send it to him. You want me to send it to him?
Sure.
All right. Then let me write that down so I don't forget.
As long as it wasn't Rich, that's fine. You can send it to him.
Okay. Hey, I tell you who I haven't seen in a while. Talking about Rich. Where is Rich White? I ain't seen him for a couple of shows. So anyway.
Hey, I find the answer to that question fascinating. I wish I would have looked that up myself.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little funny. But also thought it was interesting to look at. So it really, are they saying this happened because it's mistaken identity?
Yes.
So it's more like a tragedy that could have been avoided.
Yeah, right? But it was the last U.S. cavalry Indian battle, though.
That's
you should read the whole thing about it. It is pretty interesting.
It is interesting. Okay. For the next one, the drawing will be on 2 weeks, and I'm still waiting for people to go to. I'm hoping I get a lot of swag when people go to the NRA in Houston soon. I'm hoping I'll get some more. But this drawing will be on the 14th of August. Yeah, that'll be 2 weeks from today. The 14th of August, and this one is a hunky-dory. It's not actually. I don't find it that hard if you type it in, and look for it. But when I say hunky-dory, I am talking about the prize, right? I found this hidden. I got a big box that has all my stickers in it and stuff that I give away right at the bottom of the box. So I said I'm getting low. Where is it? Is this the one? Oh, nope, wrong one. Here it is. And I'm assuming it's good. It says it does not. The card does not have an expiration. It's valid until redeemed. It's still stuck. It's a Bass Pro card, and it's worth $25. That's what's written. Somebody's handwritten $25 on here. So I didn't even know it was in there. So it says choose any amount from 15 to 500, and it looks like somebody wrote 25 on it.
That's from that package that Foss and I sent you, I think.
No. It might have been.
I remember Foss had put in a.
Okay, it might have been because I said the box everything was sitting in is a Clover Tech box. So, but I could have thrown it all in the same box. You know what I'm saying? As I was getting smaller and smaller, I threw everything in the same box. So, yeah, whoever sent it, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm 99% sure that was Foss, just because.
Okay, all right.
Everything that I sent you, he sent me his stuff, and then I just sent it all to you as one big package. And I remember the Bass Pro thing being in there.
Okay, so that's it. So, Bass Pro gift card for $25. So that you got one patch and about 2 stickers. That's all you're getting because you're getting a $25 card. You know, this is for the 14th. Okay. Now, the question ain't that hard, really. I'm being nice. What I want to know it's about the Winchester 1886 serial number 1. I want to know who bought it, who he gave it to, and what did it sell for a couple of years ago. So who bought it, who he gave it to, and what it sold for a couple of years ago. Email me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. Get it to me by 12 noon on the 14th, and you're in for the $25 gift card. So, everybody got it? So there we go.
You know, there's a whole bunch of Winchester rifles up for auction right now. Came from the Winchester Museum. The gun parts company, CDNN, they're somehow involved with it, and they've been showing advertisements for it. They got tons and tons of rifles, serial number 0.
Are they closing down the Winchester factory? Museum or something?
Well, it's owned by the Japanese, and it's in Japan now. But these came out of a museum, the company museum. Now they're not like they got pre-64 rifles in there.
Okay.
Serial number 0, serial number 1, serial number 3, 4, all kinds of special presentation rifles that the company just kept. And I've been looking at them. They're going, you can still get them. They're not expensive as you really think. You just have to look at each rifle. Well, but they got them from they were manufactured in the 60s to all the way up into the 80s and 90s. But no serial numbers because they're presentation and stuff.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. There you go. So that was my quiz. Everybody got the question, right? Who got it? Who to give it to? And what did it sell for a couple of years ago? All 3. I want all 3. You can give me the little hit, you just can write the names down in the dollar total if you wish, or you can give me a little history about it. So there we go.
What was it? 1883 Winchester?
No, 86.
86. 1886 Winchester. The first one.
Serial number 1.
If anybody wants a new production Winchester, but you don't want to pay the money, if you go get Taylor's & Co., they actually get their lever actions from Winchester, and they just put their information on it. So you get a Winchester rifle without paying the Winchester price.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, also in that package with the $25 gift card, I think there's something in there more worth more than the $25. You're going to get 2 of my new Spotted Rick stickers. Just thought I'd mention that. So there we go. Hey, and I tell you what else I haven't mentioned. Yeah, go on.
I was just going to ask if you wanted some pictures of that serial number 1 rifle. I have to dig it out of the safe though, but
yes, yeah. What? I lost my train of thought now. What I was going to say. Damn, it's gone. Oh, damn it. Oh well, never mind. It must have been a lie. Okay, so where are we going now? You got anything else you want to talk about, or we're going to wind it down? Oh, the bells are ringing in the church. Why? Why are they ringing? It's only 4:24. Damn, sorry. I don't know if you guys can hear the bells, but they're ringing in the church. Unless there's some function going on up there.
Was it a wedding, Rick?
It could be. I got my blinds closed. I'm not going to stand up and open them and look. I don't want to open. I couldn't see out of my window anyway because there's a big giant weed that's grown up taller than my window. I'm not a gardener. I don't plant plants. And if the landlord's gardener doesn't chop it down, it ain't my problem. The way I look at it. You know,
go out there and look through a rifle scope, see what's going on.
But what I'm thinking, if I don't get my little homestead by next year's growing season, I might actually plant stuff out the back there. You know, I was thinking I could get a couple of rows of corn on the cob, sweet corn out there. You know, that's what I was thinking.
You got to protect corn. I don't know if you got a fence in that area.
I've got a 22 and an AR-15.
I hope you like sitting up all night.
Yeah, because you'll be out there in the dark protecting it.
Well, I'll see if anything comes around. I've never seen any creatures like deer, rabbits, or raccoons or anything around here at nighttime, but doesn't mean they don't come. You know what I'm saying?
Put some plants out there for them to eat.
Bigfoot.
If
put
you
some
build
hostas out there and see what they do.
Well, I might, because I was going to buy some Premier One electric fencing when I got my homestead to go around my chicken coop. Buy it early and put it around my sweet corn, and because it's electric, electrify them. Get them a shock if they try to come near my sweet corn.
How you powering that?
What? I'm going to power it with a solar panel charger.
See, Rick, what you really need is to get a blowgun. You get these blowguns, and then you sit with your window cracked open.
Okay.
That works great for junkies.
I thought my idea with the fencing was a pretty good idea. Yeah. Actually, that's not a bad idea at all. That will protect you from the rabbits and the raccoons.
Small stuff. I mean, you're still putting up like a gridded fence, right? Some type of fence, or you're just running wire.
No, a Premier One electric fence is actually they come in different heights, but you can get them where they're about 3.5 foot high. It's actually wired fencing. Has posts that go in the ground, and between the posts is actually a 3.5 foot long, 3.5 foot high fencing made out of braided wire. And then through that, there's 2 or 3 pieces of wire woven that is what gets electrified. I think the one at the bottom's electrified, and the one at the top's electrified, and it has one in the middle. Wires running through it that give pulse, and it pulses is what it does. And anything touches it, it shocks it. It's called.
Just keep the box away from the fence so they can't time it with the clicks.
So that was just an idea I had.
Doing that.
I just might do that. And because I was down with my friends the other day, and I noticed he had a little hand push or hand pull tiller. It's motorized, but it only had one wheel on it. That would dig up all them weeds up out there, dig the ground up. And I could plant my sweet corn, put my fence up, and I'm good to go. That's a good idea. Damn, I'm going to be... Yeah, I like that idea. So, anyway. All right. What I haven't mentioned today, because, there was a video out this week about it, is the RNLdisplay.com AR stand, which I have behind me there on my toolbox there. I got gun supplies in that thing, gun tools in there now. They ain't a lot. Most of it's empty, but So anyway, so that, and if you go there and you order one, when you get to the checkout page, type in Rick's Life in the coupon section, and you will get a 15% discount. So there you go. And it has a wall mount too, which is actually hiding behind there right now. So it's almost lined up with it. So that's why I got to put it back on the wall mount. I prefer it on the wall mount, actually. It looks good both ways. But the wall mount makes it look like it's just suspended in space. You know? So, all right. Let's get this show on the road. Let's go with the shout outs. Squib Lift, you got any shout outs or plugs?
I'm going to plug freedom and the fact that we still live in the freest country on this earth. Let's try to keep it that way without being reckless. Thanks for the invite. Pretty good show today. I like debating with you guys, and I think some people might look at that as a bad thing, but I look at it as us bringing stuff to the surface and talking about it, even if we're going at each other or whether it's not an echo chamber like some shows, and it's not because we're putting on an act. It's because we believe in what we're saying. And even though we might disagree, we have different opinions, or we're playing that thing that I don't like to say, we're trying to, she's over here laughing at me. It's good. I think we can use these platforms to start this discussion or to continue the discussion, or just bring those, instead of just a bunch of yes men and echo chamber and whatever the biggest YouTube channel says is what I'm doing. We can show that we're a diverse culture, we're a diverse community, or we're trying to become a community, and we can still get along, and we can still show up every show or almost every show and talk about this stuff. So I'm glad that you had this show so we can do that, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. From the man, the myth, the legend himself, Patriot in the Dark.
Man, how am I supposed to follow all that mushy stuff? Jeez. No, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Congratulations to this week's winner. Who'd you say it was? Southpaw?
Southpaw RX.
RX. Okay. Well, congratulations. I threw out a super long, extremely long video, and I was going to cut it up, but there was no way of doing it. It's like 20 minutes long. Just turn it up to ×2, and it goes by pretty quick. But it's a situation at two different shops. One's full of a bunch of whatever you want to call them, just the guys trying to sell stuff and push stuff, and then a good shop and the differences, and being a blind guy filling out forms and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to check it out, and even in that video, I mentioned a fellow nut or gun person. So anyway, there might be a giveaway if you find out who that is. So you might want to check it out.
All right.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. New York Outcast, you got anything?
Yeah, since you bring it up, I'd like to give a little shout out to Gizzard Gary there on his R&L display review video. So I think he did a pretty good job. If you are interested in the displays or have time to kill, maybe check it out. So thought it was pretty good. Showed everything that you get. So go check it out. Also, the guy gives out free chicken. So, you can win chicken at his shows. That's a lot. Who doesn't like chicken? But yeah, so anyway, and I'd also like to give a shout out to Squibload. So I know this guy seemed like an asshole, but he's actually all right, and he did a pretty good job with the Brandy Alexander video. So maybe go check that out too. It's a drink you might like, and from the sounds of it, I think he liked it. So there's a couple people there you guys should look into, and besides that, obviously everybody else on the panel. and eat a salad and all that jazz. Thanks for joining us.
All right. Actually, I'm gonna go throw a couple of burgers on the grill. Somebody, one of the old. Do you guys remember me way back when it was cold and we had snow on the ground, and that neighbor of mine came along and plowed my driveway for me? Well, I'm sitting here this morning, and somebody knocks on my front door, because my actual doorbell is on the back door, believe it or not. Why they did it that way, I don't know. But he knocks on my front door, and I open it, and it's the same guy with a bag full. There must be 2.5, 3 pounds of cherry tomatoes in there from his garden. He said, "We can't eat them all. I hope you can." And he gave them to me. I said, "Thank you very much." So I'm going to throw some of them in the salad that I'm having with my hamburgers. So I'm having 2 salads. I'm having lettuce, tomato, and onion on my burger. Then I'm going to make myself a little salad on the side with some lettuce, onion, and the cherry tomatoes. So what do you think of that? There you go. No, not a French fry in sight.
Nice.
So, all right, Jason Stewart, you got any shout outs or plugs?
No, just thanks for the invite. Good to see everybody. Talk to you. Work hard and stay free.
All right. Any new guns lately?
No. But I am looking to find something I don't know anything about. I need a camera tripod. And I asked last night on Gizzy Gary's show for some advice, and I zoomed around Walmart and Amazon today, and I just don't know what to get. Somehow I think I'm just going to try to go somewhere I want to see one and touch it in my hands.
No, I got one. I got one from Amazon.
Well, I bought a chronograph, so I need like a camera stand for a chronograph. I want something, heavy duty, but I don't want to go like crazy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
The one that they carry in store at Walmart should do you just fine. It's got a little hook on the bottom in the center that you can put a weight on there to help stabilize it more. That's what I've got. And I mean, just for holding a chronograph, it'll do fine.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
mine's
got a hook on it too. I'm just looking at it now, and it will go, and it go with the legs. It extend it, go to about 6 foot high too.
I've been seeing some that are rated for like 11 pounds, 15 pounds and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not too expensive. I get one $30, $40. But I don't know. I just kind of want to see one first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I ordered a chronograph from Midway USA, and man, they boxed that up and shipped that in like 15 minutes, man. It's supposed to be here like Tuesday.
Oh, that's good.
You guys are fast on that. Everything was on sale, so I need one. I've been wanting to use one, and it's glad I finally picked one up, but doesn't have any stand or anything.
You can check out your reloads now.
Yeah, give me something to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got a little pistol stand too. So yeah, man, I'm trying to build some loads. You know what I mean? I want to know the difference for my different powder weights, man. I want to see what actually happens, because you know what I mean. I'm trying to make something better than factory, but it don't got to be a whole lot better. But
yeah,
I don't want nothing any worse.
I was thinking of doing that myself, because I said I reload and stuff mainly just for plinking, but like I've made my defense ammo. I need to maybe run it through one of those to make sure that it's living up to what it should do, and it's not crap. You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Hey, if you're gonna want to watch some good videos, you can check out Echo's Reloading Chamber. He's been doing some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, he has. Yeah,
Echo's a good guy.
He is a good guy. He really
and if
is.
you have questions, he'll answer them too.
Oh yes. I mean, his chats go on for too long, but he's a good guy. I know I like David. That's his name, by the way. But everybody, anyway, yeah, he's a good guy. All right. Last but not least, or least but not last. I don't know I forgot how the saying goes. Guns and barbecue.
Oh man, I got all kinds of stuff happening recently. First, I'd like to encourage everybody to just go comment on the comment periods. My day's pretty much wide open, so that's actually why I got in here late. Was I was leaving comments and lost track of time. Looked, I was like, oh shoot, Rick's live. So took a break from that to come in here, but once I jump out of here, going right back to it. I've got my 3 live shows a week, and I'm starting up a new project on every Wednesday now, which will premiere at noon. So if anybody wants to catch that, give me some feedback, what you think, and whatnot. We really appreciate it. The first episode will be this coming Wednesday, the 4th. Oh, and I finally had to order my first oops kit for building ARs. Lost 2 detents yesterday. I was pissed.
Who'd you get it from?
Just found one on eBay. It's the cheapest one I could find. Friggin', it's for my cousin has had this stuff to build his AR for over a year, and he was like, "Can you probably do it for me?" Like, I've been waiting for you to friggin' bring it because I wanted to teach him so he knew what the hell he's doing, and I was like, "I'll just do it for you because you're never gonna get your ass in gear." And
talk about at least some pins, all right.
Yeah, friggin', I've only ever lost 1 detent before this, and yesterday, well, this whole thing's been fighting me. The lower he got, then he went and got the Anderson lower kit, which I don't typically have a problem with those. I've used them in other people's builds and stuff, never had an issue. This one, the frigate, first thing I go to do is install the magazine release and catch. Friggin' the thumb button won't thread on. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So I take it off thinking that the springs are just too strong or something, and it's just fighting me. And so I go to take the spring out, just make sure that it's going to thread. It won't thread at all. I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. So luckily I had an extra magazine release. Throw that in there. Fine, that problem solved. I was like, you got to be ridiculous. So then pins weren't wanting to go in for the trigger assembly and everything. Fought with that for probably a half hour. I don't know if stuff was just a little bit off or anything, whatever the case was, but got those in eventually, and I was just like, what the frick is going on here? Then I get everything else assembled. Everything seems to be going fine. Then I go to put in the front takedown pin, and the freaking spring won't go in the hole. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And they sent 2 springs that were the same size and 1 spring that was a different size, which normally that spring that's a different size goes in the pistol grip. So I go and take that one out just to see. I'm like, oh, this one's considerably bigger than the one that's in the pistol grip. So I thought, oh, maybe I just wasn't paying attention and swapped them. And so put that one in the pistol grip and go to put that one in the hole. Won't fit. I'm like, what the crap? So I go and take the one out for the rear takedown pin, and I'm like, all right, so that's where the smaller one was. So I was like, well, maybe this big one will fit back here, and I can make no. Friggin', they sent 2 springs that were the wrong friggin' size. I was like, you son of a gun. So luckily I had the extra spring and an extra detent. So I found the extra spring that I had laying around, which was like looking for a needle in a haystack. Got that put in, and then friggin' 2 detents just fucking blow out. I mean, I was like, son of a. Has not been a good experience with this.
All right. Anything else?
No, that's it. Sorry, I didn't mean to, bring up a big old story, but
well, no, I mean, think about it, Rick. this actually does pertain to Rick. Because you think about it, an oops kit is a good thing to have if you put together ARs. If you already have one bought complete, you're probably not going to use an oops kit unless maybe you change out the trigger or something like that. So Rick, if at any point you decide that you want to put a different trigger in your stock AR, I would recommend just for a few extra dollars ordering an oops kit as well. That way, if you do lose something, you've got it. And I mean, it's seriously, they're what, under $10, I want to say, or $15?
Well,
they're fairly well priced.
Yeah, the one I found came with, I think it was 6 springs and 6 detents for $8.95 free shipping. Should be here, I think, Thursday or something. But all the other ones, which looked like the exact same packaging and everything, were like $16, $17.
For having a complete rifle and just doing your field strip and cleaning, an OPS kit is pointless.
Yep.
But if you ever think you're going to change out something on the lower, or you like to assemble your own lowers, it's a good investment.
All right. Actually, I'm writing down what you wrote in the chat.
Yeah, because say you wanted to get put a Geisley trigger in there, or a more budget friendly ALG or something like that, and you lost something, you'd be like, ah, man, now what? I mean, not that you can't buy each individual spring and detent and stuff. You could have a tackle box full of that. I've got a video about that sort of thing. But that OPS kit has like 1 or 2 of everything, or in Guns and Barbecue's cases, 6 or whatever. But yeah, it's the tiniest little thing that you will lose. I had a detent spring go bad after 20 years. And that's only because the stock had worked itself loose, and the pen came out, or the spring came out and got bent, and then later the buffer tube broke off. But I mean, it took 20 years. So those are just tiny little parts that you wouldn't use for a field strip, in case anybody out there is not familiar with what an OPS kit is.
All right, appreciate it. So, hey, did you ever get that thing sorted out, Guns and Barbecue, with your argument with your what's called? I can't remember the name.
PSA?
Yeah.
Well, they Carolina EDC apparently talked to whoever he has for a connection there, and they passed it along, my videos along, to whoever they needed to, which then the guy that was supposed to be in charge of the customer service department called me, and we had a good conversation, and he's like, we're sending you a $25 gift card. I was like, I don't want a $25 gift card. I was like, I just want my parts. So, well, we're going to send the gift card anyways, and we're going to get the parts out to you ASAP, yada, yada, yada. Really sorry about this. He's like, can you take down the videos, though? I was like, I'll make them private. That's no problem. I was like, but if I feel like you guys aren't following through on the changes that you're saying that you're making, and I keep seeing the same issues and stuff, I'm going to make them public again. He's like, oh, no, I completely understand. And he seemed very sincere. He said he'd only been there for 30 days, and he's trying to get things turned around. And so I get all my stuff. I call him, hey, let him know, hey, got everything, yada, yada, yada. He's like, great. Then I go to finally finish the 2 rifle builds that I needed those extra parts for, because they didn't send them. And the safety isn't working properly. I'm like, what the crap? So I'm thinking it's got a dicked up safety. And because I could release the hammer to the fired position, but then you're not supposed to be able to flick the safety to safe in that configuration. And I could flick the safety to safe. And I'm like, that's no bueno. So I tried to call the customer service department, and when I would call the number for the customer service, as soon as it connects, it just disconnects and hangs up on me. So I tried that multiple times after that, thinking I was just having some connection issues that day. Same exact thing would happen. Then I got a hold of a family member's phone the one day. I was like, let me see that real quick. And I dialed the number, and sure as shit, it goes through. Thanks for calling PSA. Yada, yada. I'm like, motherfucker, that they blocked my friggin' number. So I call the guy that's like, yeah, I'm your contact guy. You ever have any problems, let me know. So called him for 2 weeks, didn't get anything. Then I finally get a email from a guy in the customer service department. He's like, yeah, just email me back or call in. I was like, I can't call in because every time I try, it won't let me. So and I told him, I'm blind. I fucking hate email. Call me. So he calls me and says, oh, yeah, we'll have our IT guys get right on that, yada, yada, yada. If it's not resolved in 24 hours, let me know. It's been 3 months since then. It's still not resolved.
See, here's another thing that you do, Rick. You bring these sorts of things out on your show to kind of give people an opportunity to hear about how somebody's experience was good or bad or whatnot. I'm kind of glad that you brought that up, because it's kind of interesting. And I'm not saying everybody's experience with Palmetto State Armory is the same, but I appreciate the transparency, because just like boycotting, calling these companies out when they promise to make things right and they don't, it's good information. It's not about getting views, or I mean, for some channels it might be or whatever, but this is good information to share. Because, I mean, they're actually asking you to take down the videos. Hell no, I'm not taking down the videos.
Well, I figure, friggin', if the guy, like I said, the guy seems sincere, all that fun jazz, I was like, I'll give him the chance. But learn my lesson. I got burned. Shit happens. Is what it is. But so they're back to being public and whatnot.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
All right. Jay had to jump out, and I'm going to jump out and say goodbye to everybody because I'm still live. So I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for being here, sticking with us this afternoon. I really do appreciate it, and I'll be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I will see you all then. So, good afternoon, good evening, everybody.
Bye, Sabrina. Salads give you gallstones.